Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're taking a look at one of Walmart's more expensive multi-tool options and my massive disappointment in it. So this is I think they call this the Practice, but it's not spelled how you would think. But this is from Swisstek, and I actually am getting ready to do a video on all the Swisstek folders because I've had extensive use on them now. You know, the different models, I've carried them, used them, tested around the house, and I do have opinions on that. But I wanted to start carrying this multi-tool more and using it more because I only used it a few times, wanted to kind of get more experience with it, and it broke. So I have it in here, but I have the blade separate from it. All right, and a little spacer washer that goes underneath the screw, and then the screw. Or screw head, I should say. The screw is still in the tool. So first off, just overall, I do have some experience with the tool. I do like the little sheath here. It's a storage sheath. I have not carried this on the belt, although obviously it goes on the belt. But it's nice quality. I like it. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with it at all. The snap is actually nice and firm, which I like, so that, you know, it's not going to, if it even gets bumped, it's not going to accidentally open up on you. Not that you'd have to worry about, you know, your multi-tool getting lost unless you're doing cartwheels or something. But anyway, I'm just saying, I just like that it's a stiffer snap. The snap is nice. Overall, the build quality seems nice. It's not going to come apart very easily. The stitching is done very well. All right, so, you know, the sheath is fine. I like the sheath. So my issue here, obviously, is I don't have a blade anymore, a main plain edge blade. And what happened was I opened and used this knife probably 4 times. The knife blade. I practiced using the other tools. I've used the file. Actually, the file works very well. I have no problem with that at all. That is this tool right here. But yeah, the blade, I just wanted to take it out, use it a little bit more. My issue originally with this was when I rotated the blade out, and you can see there's, you know, another blade that's on here. When I rotate it out, the lock would kind of stick. So as let me zoom in and show you this. There are liner locks. You can see the tab right here. So as the tool is opening all the way, let me do this so you get a better view. All right, see how that pops open and locks? Well, on the main blade, it was not locking. So what happened is I opened it all the way, and I would have to kind of like wiggle it back and forth, and it would go dink and then pop in place. And that is just to line up with the base of the blade and this lock bar. All right, so right off the bat, I wasn't super excited about it because it wasn't locking up all the time, as well as the blade play. There's play, we can hear that, in all the tools. All right, so here, let's see, here's the little file. You heard that locked up totally fine. All right, there's wiggle. There's wiggle up and down and left and right. All right, so anyway, let's take out the saw, which I did not get a chance to use. That opens and locks fine, but I don't know, let me try to hold this stable. You see how much play? I'm not bending that tool. I'm just wiggling it. Okay, now forward and backward. There's not as much play. Side to side, it wiggles a lot. Now this screw is actually tightened down. So it's not like I can just mess with the, you know, the pivot screw. So like just the tolerances aren't that great. And look, in closing it, it wants to stop because it's hitting the frame here. Because there's so much play on it, it's not, you know, where it needs to be. What's actually happening is the lock bar is pushing this, the pressure from it, it's a spring steel, it's supposed to come over, but the pressure is keeping it all the way to the left. So it wants to hit the frame, so you have to literally push it back in order to close it. All right, so not a great, you know, situation. So what happened was I took this out, I wanted to use it around the house a little bit, test it. Took the blade out, didn't lock, closed the blade. Took the blade out again, it locked. A dink, you know, made a very audible locking sound. And I went to go cut something, some cardboard, and the blade, it went like this. Right, I gotta make my cut. It goes dink, like a noise, crazy noise, like a pop noise, and then the blade fall off. I'm like, okay. And these little parts went flying. So the head of the screw literally sheared off. And I'm talking about cutting cardboard. Cardboard. I have no idea how that could have happened. That is insane. It completely sheared off with almost no pressure. So this has to be like a factory. It's not even like the quality of the screw is so bad, because this, again, this tool barely got used. You know, I would understand if I used it over and over and over again and put lots of pressure on it. Okay, maybe the screws, you know, aren't really heat treated properly, or it's a crappy quality screw, but I mean, there's literally almost no pressure at all. This would have popped off if a little kid pulled on it, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of crazy to me that that happened. Okay, so that's the screw head, obviously, and then this red is just a little spacer piece. You can see it over here, right? Massively disappointing. I mean, I don't, you know, I don't know what to say about that. That sucks. So I'm gonna talk about tool a little bit here, but and you know, this is one of those things where maybe this is a great tool for you, and you got one at Walmart and you used it, because the whole thing is SwissTech, you know, got to deal with Walmart to carry a lot of the products, and I am super impressed with a lot of their other stuff, and I was excited to use this. But even if this didn't break, I'm not super into this multi-tool. First off, this is $50. $50. So it's not inexpensive, right? It's, I think, a 17-in-1 tool. And like right out of the gate, when I first got this, I loved the texture of it. I like the texture on the frame itself. I like the black and the red. That's kind of cool, you know? So like visually it's nice. It feels nice in the hand. It is, you know, kind of chunky. It uses these, you know, locking mechanisms. This is similar to some other multi-tools as well. It's nothing innovative or new, but we have one pivoting bar with some little jimping on it. So that would basically lock up whatever tool you pull out. So as I was using other things, like the main pliers here, they're not spring-loaded, as you can obviously see, which not a huge deal to me. I know some people only like spring-loaded pliers, but I don't really care either way. That's not a problem. The actual pliers, minimal use. I held one thing. I held some paracord while I was, you know, burning the end for a neck knife. That was it. So I don't really have much use on, you know, the head, the jaws, the strength of them. I don't know the quality of that at all. I can just tell you that the fit, the overall fit of these tools on the outside, which is mainly what I was playing around with, sucked. It just wasn't a good fit. Wiggle room, can't, you know, and these are like Loctite or something, because you can't really turn them. The first thing was the, again, the file. I used the file. Where is it? This side? Yeah. I used the file, and again, there's play in it. And I tried turning the screw, and I didn't want to force anything. It just would not move at all. So I know there's Loctite or something, some kind of thread lock in there. So I couldn't adjust that pivot. Now, I mean, I obviously could get a hairdryer or a heat gun and just, you know, warm that up and play around with it, but it wasn't that big of a deal to me. But the fact that the other tools, they all had play, like significant play, and I can't just easily just adjust it, that kind of sucked, right? So I wasn't super excited about that. And then, you know, on the inside with these other tools, the one side, you can see they have these lips here, so you can access them. So you get your fingernail in there, and this side has the flathead, large flathead screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver. There's a smaller Phillips that's within this. This is kind of an interesting design. I don't really, it's not positive or negative to me, but the smaller Phillips is kind of, it fits inside the corner of the large one. So like if you want to use the large one, you have to pull the small one out with it. Does that make sense? It's not like a huge deal or anything. And these do lock in. There's still some play. So again, not super tight tolerances or anything. If you want to use just the mini, then you could fold down the big one and use just the mini independently. All right. But yeah, I mean, the tools inside, they weren't like, you know, they're not extra impressive, but they work fine. It's whatever. The thing is though, on this side, again, having those little lips you can grab with your thumbnail, that's cool. The other side doesn't have that. What we have is a little bit of a nail nick on one side, which makes it just kind of hard to get to. Okay, so here we have our can opener, and then if you open the can over, like a lot of multi-tools, maybe you get lucky where they're kind of like stiff against each other, so it kind of pulls the other tools up. That's cool, but let's say it didn't. Let's say these are all down. I just want that middle tool. That does have a lip on it, but the scissors don't. The last tool on here, the scissors, and if I just wanted the scissors, I have to kind of get in there, and this is a much thinner piece, so I was having a hard time originally doing that. And when you do that, obviously, you know, it digs under your fingernail and it kind of hurts a little bit. It's not comfortable. The scissors actually work very well. All right, they lock open. I did use these a few times, and I have no issues with these. This it has a stiff spring in it. This little spring steel is very good. All right, so it has resistance. I don't want like floppy little scissors. These cut fantastic. I have no issues at all. All right, so the scissors are kind of cool. The angle is totally fine. Everything's fine with that. All right, it's just the outside tools, which honestly for me are what get used the most in multi-tools like this. Like I like having the option in a plier dedicated multi-tool like this design, like a lot of the Leathermans and the Victorinox and things like that. People like carrying those because you might have the need for a plier. That's why you carry it. If you're not using your pliers ever, or don't think you ever want to use a plier, there's other multi-tools that you can go with, like the regular Victorinox. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest advantage of these full-size tools is the full-size pliers, right? So that's a big deal to me, right? But on these designs where you have access to blades and saws and stuff from the outside, that's fantastic because now this becomes your folding knife. This is your main tool in your pocket, or in this case, you can have it on your belt. So when you want to go for your knife, you grab your multi-tool and you have your knife. But they just, like I said, I mean, the fact that this sheared off, that's a no-go. I want to say this is total junk, don't buy it. But, like everything else, it could be a lemon. So I'm not only sharing this experience, but I'm also asking you, if you guys have this particular tool, what's your experience with it? Did you have any issues with the screws breaking? Because I don't know if it's an anomaly and it's just this one specific one, you know what I mean? And they're all fantastic. Let's say this didn't break off. I still probably wouldn't recommend this, at least as, like, if you have a bunch of multi-tools, then yeah, sure, try it out. Maybe you like it more. But, like, if you were just looking for one multi-tool, go to Walmart and spending $50 on a tool like this, without it breaking, it's still kind of whatever. It's middle of the road. Like I said, I really like the scissors in it. The main blade is AUS 8, which is fine, On a $50 multi-tool, believe it or not, that's not that bad at all. You're not getting super steels. I mean, obviously we can see there are options out there now with like magnet cut for our multi-tool blade, but that's way more expensive, like hundreds of dollars expensive. So I just think I think this tool, like if you didn't tell me a price on this, I didn't know the price at all, I would say this is a $20 multi-tool, and the fact it broke is not, that's not acceptable, whether it's $5 or $500, you know what I'm saying? It's strange. So, again, I'm just saying I had a very bad experience with this. I definitely would not recommend it from my own experience. I can only go by my own experiences, right? But I'm also reaching out to ask if other people had this issue. If even one other person had this happen to them, I would say it's junk, stay away from it. There's some kind of problem. The hardware is so incredibly cheap that it literally shears off with barely any pressure. But if I'm the only person that ever had this happen, it could just be a weird thing that happened. I got the one, with the bad screw. Because, the other ones are fine. Let's take out the other blade again. All right. You can see we have a fully serrated blade. So it's nice that this tool does have a full plain edge and a full serrated blade. I'm actually going to try, well, maybe not with the blade. Let's try it with the file. It's a little safer, I guess. I'm going to see if I can just break this off, because I don't know if it's consistent. Should probably wear gloves for this. I don't know if it's consistent, but the whole file is flexing quite a bit. If I was able to push this and that would break off, then I would say, okay, yeah, it's total junk. But it doesn't feel like it's going to break. It's flexing, it's moving around a little bit, but it's not going to shear off like that one did. This had no pressure at all. So I want to say it was that one screw was just something was messed up, because this is not, doesn't feel like it's going to break or anything. So yeah, it is what it is. But I can recommend it as of now just because of my experience. That's just happened to be what it was. So let me know in the comment section. Again, I'd feel much better if this was a $15 multi-tool from Walmart. I can tell you, I have one that I got at Walmart for, I think it was $10. I have a video on it. It's bigger, it's completely polished. The whole thing is polished, stainless, or at least has a stainless appearance. It's super, super smooth, very comfortable, works totally fine. It was like $10. I would take that one over this one any day, just because of the fact that this thing broke off. That's obviously, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. If you, let's say you hear Microtech's a great company and you grab a Microtech, you get an OTF, and your first day you open it and it doesn't work very well, and you're like, okay, well, this kind of sucks, I don't know what the deal is. And then let's say you go to cut something and the blade breaks in half. you're going to go, Microtech sucks. And you got thousands and thousands of people telling you that they're awesome. So why did you get one that sucks? It's confusing, right? So anyway, like I said, I can only go by my experiences. This was my experience. This was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Unacceptable to have a, you know, main screw break off. It's not like the pocket clip fell off or something. You know, this is the main blade. And it, cardboard. You know what I'm saying? If I was slamming this on concrete and go, oh man, you know, the screw broke. Okay, well, you're not supposed to do that. Well, this is meant to cut cardboard. You should be able to do that. It's just super strange. I've never seen that on anything before. A screw break, like the screw head break off so easily. This must have had like a big crack in it or something. I'm not convinced that it's the screws. It's just this one particular screw. So whatever, that's what happened with mine. For $50, that's, again, super, super disappointing. But even if it didn't break, I still feel like this is more like a $20, $25 tool. You know, not $50. I think it's overpriced for what it is. Which is surprising because I had such amazing experiences with their other stuff. And you'll see that in a separate video. Their knives are awesome. I think their knives, especially for the prices, they're just phenomenal. They're great. A budget knife. That's very cool. So stay tuned for those videos, but this one was a huge disappointment. So big thumbs down on this one, but I want your feedback. If you happen to have this tool, please let me know. I want to hear the message. Hey, you know, I got one from Walmart and I think it's great. I use it all the time. I have no issues. You know, is that the case? Or do you guys have some issues? So let me know right down in the comment section. But anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a fantastic day. And I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.